Okay, here we have some double angle formulas, so we just need to keep in mind the rules for that. So let's just write those out real quick. Sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cosine theta. Double angle cosine, there's 3 different versions. To me, the easiest one to pick is the one that has, it's either just 2 cosine squared theta minus 1 or 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. I find this one to be easier to use because I like having this one positive. I don't like using the cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta because then I have to figure out 2 trig values. Half angle sine is plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine of theta all over 2, and we'll deal with the plus or minus in a minute. Half angle tan is sine theta all over cosine theta plus 1. What happened? All right, apparently my paper moved a little bit here. So pi to 3 pi over 2, that would be in the third quadrant, and tangent is positive in the third quadrant, so I'm okay with that. So we just draw a little sketch here. So it's opposite over adjacent, so that's 4, 3, 5, but since this is in the negative x direction, that's a negative 3, that's in the negative y direction, that's a negative 4. So 2 sine cosine is just going to be 2 times the sine of theta, where this is our theta. Theta is always drawn with respect to the x-axis, which would be, sine would be negative 4 over 5. And cosine will be negative 3 over 5. And this is really 2 over 1, so that's 8 times 3, which is 24 25ths. So here we got 2 cosine squared, so cosine is 3 over 5. So that's negative 3 over 5 squared minus 1, which is 2 over 1 times 9 over 25 minus 1, which is 18 over 25 minus 1, which is 18 minus 25 over 25, which is negative 7 over 25. Here we have plus or minus. What we need to keep in mind is we have theta is between pi and 3 pi over 2. So that means if I want theta over 2, well, I just divide this theta by 2. But what's good for one side of the inequality is good for the other ones. So therefore, this also must be divided by 2. So that's pi over 2. This one must be divided up by 2. So that's 3 pi over 4, or multiplied by a half, however you see it. So this is in between pi over 2 and 3 pi over 4, which is essentially this region right here, this little region in the second quadrant. So this is a second quadrant. So half angle sine, half angle is in the second quadrant, so that means sine is positive. So that means we just want to use the plus one here. So we do plus the square root of 1 minus cosine. Cosine is negative 3 over 5 all over 2. So that's the square root of 1 plus 3/5 over 2. I find the easiest way to manage this is multiply the numerator and denominator by the common denominator, which in this case is only one denominator, which is 5. So I get the square root of 5 plus 3 all over 10, which is the square root of 8 over 10. Which if I simplify that, I get the square root of 4 over 5, which is 2 over the square root of 5. Notice half angle tangent. In this version, this version, there's no plus or minus, so you don't need to worry about what angle theta over 2 is, because you don't need to choose. Like in half angle sine, you needed to choose because there's a plus or minus. The alternative version of half angle tan is plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine theta all over 1 plus cosine theta, which we can show is equivalent to this one here. If you were to use this formula, then you'd have to choose between the plus or minus. So it's in the second quadrant, tangent is negative in the second quadrant, so we would use the negative one. However, since this one there is no plus or minus, you don't need to worry about that. So the sine of theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, so that's negative 4/5. The cosine of theta is negative 3 over 5 plus 1. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the common denominator, which is 5 over 5. I really like that red. It's nice. So that gives me negative 4 all over negative 3 plus 5. So that's negative 4 over 2. equals -2. And we're done. Okay, so we have tangent theta is equal to -3 and sine is negative. So in what quadrant is both tan and sine negative? That would be the fourth quadrant. So I draw my right triangle. Note again that I draw my right triangle with respect to the x-axis. I never draw with respect to the y-axis. So my opposite, this is opposite over adjacent. So that's 3 and 1. Since my y direction is negative, I put the negative there. I then use Pythagorean identity, so that's 9 plus 1, which is the square root of 10. So the sine of 2 theta is 2 sine cosine. So I do 2 times the sine of theta, which is -3 over radical 10. The cosine is 1 over the square root of 10. So that gives me, this is 2 over 1, so that's -6 over 10, which is -3/5. Again, I have choices with doubling or cosine. I'm going to choose the easiest one, I think, is 2 cosine squared minus 1. Let me draw a little line here. So this is 2 times cosine is 1 over the square root of 10. Quantity squared minus 1. So this is 2 over 1 times 1 over 10 minus 1, which is equal to 1/5 minus 1, which hopefully you can see is -4/5. Again, we have a half angle cosecant, so whenever we're handling cosecant or its cousin sine, we need to determine what quadrant we're dealing with. Since this is a fourth quadrant angle, that would be 3 pi over 2 is less than theta is less than 2 pi. I need to have theta over 2, so that means I need to divide everybody by 2, so this one by 2. And I'm going to think of this one as being multiplied by 1/2 and this one being multiplied by 1/2. So now I have an inequality with respect to theta over 2. So I have theta over 2 is less than pi, is less than 3 pi quarters. 3 pi quarters and pi is right over here, is this triangle region over here, which is the second quadrant. So therefore, half angle cosecant or sine or both can be positive. Just note that half angle sine is, I'm going to write that over here, is half angle sine is plus or minus 1 minus the cosine of theta all over 2. So that means half angle cosecant is just going to be the reciprocal of this. So it would be plus or minus over 2 over 1 minus cosine theta. But we've already established that our half angle is in the second quadrant. So therefore, we just want to make this positive, so we'll just get rid of the plus or minus sign there. So I get 2 over 1 minus cosine theta is 1 over radical 10. So I'm going to multiply by a common denominator of radical 10 over radical 10. So I get the square root of 2 square roots of 10 all over radical 10 minus 1. And though this is one of the most unattractive answers we've seen, I'm good with that. So cotan, we have a little room over here. Tan, half angle tan is 1 plus sine theta over cosine. No, wait, that's sine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. I put the plus 1 in the numerator. So if we're doing cotangent, we would just take the reciprocal of this expression here. So half angle cotan will be 1 plus cosine theta all over sine theta. So this is 1 plus, we've done cosine 3 times here, so it's 1 over the square root of 10. Sine of theta is -3 over the square root of 10. Again, I'm going to multiply by the square root of 10 over the square root of 10. So that gives me the, I don't like red. Radical 10 plus 1 all over -3. And that's really ugly, but I'm okay with that.